Welcome everybody to part 5 of mixing with Slate Digital plugins, where we're doing an entire mix with nothing but Slate Digital plugins, and then we are also doing the same mix with nothing but stock plugins as well as Waves plugins, and at the very end we are going to compare the three mixes to hear the differences in tonality, depth, width, and just overall character and flavors. So today we're going to be doing what I consider the hardest part of this entire thing, and that is mixing the keys on this. And I've mixed this song before, and it's always a battle to get the piano part, the organ part, and the electric guitar part to sit right with each other, as well as with the vocals parts. So instead of complaining about this and whining, let's just go ahead and get started, and I'll explain the changes that I do at the very end. Okay, let's go. Okay, so once again, to me, the Slate Digital plugins are killing the other ones. It was very easy for me to get the sound that I wanted, just as it has been with all the other plugins. And it adds so much character and so much depth and imaging. It's just mind blowing. Um, to me, the second for the ease of use for the keys was actually the stock plugins. I think the one that I did the worst job with was actually the Waves plugins. But the Slate plugins, it was just so easy for me to get this. So let's talk about what I did. I started out by putting the VTM and Virtual Console on the track level, just because I wanted to hear the color of those before I even started doing anything. And then what I did was I came to the bus and I added the mix bus because I really wanted to drive this hard with the 4KG. This is an SSL console. And that really just brings those keys forward a little bit. So the next thing I did was I came and added some top end here, and I rolled off some top end as well. So that's one of the things I love about this custom EQ is you can roll off some top end and boost the top end into it, kind of at two different frequencies, and they kind of match up really nice. Sort of like what you would do with a Pultec EQ, but it's not. It like the math that's going on is not the same, but it's in a way kind of similar to that if you want to think of it that way. But as I said before, not really. So if you've been watching this series, you could see that in most of the tracks I'm cutting out some 4K and 400, and that to me that just made some nice pockets for these keys to sit. So I just boosted for both of those. But instead of 400, I added 600. I can experiment with the 400 later on, but to me 600 is working nicely. 600 to me is a little less muddy than the 400, so I just wanted to add some of those low mids back into the mix to make it sound more balanced. Then I'm low passing at about 90. Oh, and I should also say that I used this preamp just to get some distortion on that and add the color of those tubes. It worked really nicely. So as far as the tape, pretty much standard settings here, but I added some wow and flutter on the electric keys, or the piano sound, whatever you want to call it. And then as with the others, I used the Neve console. And as far as EQ, I just wanted to add some punchy low end and some presence to it. So what's better to do than to use the custom series lift? Nothing. So that's exactly what I did. Was I used the custom series lift, and that got those keys sitting right where I wanted it. Then I used some pretty heavy compression here with the modern 1176 Blue Edition, and I just dialed back the mix on that to 33% because it was crushing it pretty much. And then I added some body and some thickness and some shimmer with Revival. Great plugin. So I did the same thing on both the left and right. And then as far as the organ, I drove this into a little bit of saturation and used more wow and flutter to give it some sort of depth to the sound. Then I drove the FG76 pretty hard, added some drive. I added a lot of distortion on these organs because to me, organs love distortion. And drove the input up to get a little bit into the red on this Neve channel. Then just high passed here at 50, boosted a dB and a half of 100, and 2 dB of 4K. So as far as EQ, really simple, just some mids to make it cut through, as well as some low end to retain the body of that. And then what I did was with these 1176 plugins, if you hold shift and click the attack button, It actually turns the compression off, and then you can drive the input on this to get some distortion from the transformers in this compressor. And what I did was I held shift while I raised the input, and what that does is as you raise the input, it also dials back the output the same amount. So you're not gaining any volume, but you're getting that distortion color. And I liked it to get pretty gritty, and I did the same thing on both sides. So it really just, the organ, I just pretty much distorted the crap out of it, and just added a lot of color. If you watch the other ones, I did the same thing, but this was my favorite color, and it just does it in such a musical and nice way. So then from there, I just did some bypassing and let you hear it with the guitars and keys. And to me, it just sits better in the mix now, has some nice depth, and just a really unique character. So as you can see, it was so much easier to dial this in with the Slate plugins. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I hope you learned something new. If you didn't like this video, it's okay. You're entitled to your own opinion. You can give it a thumbs down if you want. I really don't want you to, but if you really feel the need to, you can do so. You're entitled to your opinion. Always remember that. And if you really enjoyed this video, or you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe because there's many, many more videos to come. So I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so very much for watching, and have a wonderful day or night, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you so much. See you next time.